I know none of you want to talk about it, but I'm going to make you listen to me talk about it. So Alan Wake 2 released a DLC, and me and my friend played through it a couple days ago, and it's so important because in this game, Alan Wake is trapped in the dark place, as we discussed in a previous episode. And in order to get out, he is writing a book about the things that will get him out. Everything he writes comes true. But the problem is, there's an evil version of him that's editing the manuscript and making it not come true. So the DLC is all of the shitty genre fiction that Alan Wake wrote to try and trick himself out of the dark place. And the very first one was like a romance novel, and it was so funny. It was about a waitress who was so in love with Alan Wake that she was going to go save him. And one of the characters was Alan Wake's evil twin. And at the peak of the part you're playing, his evil twin is like, wow, secretly I was in love with you the whole time. I didn't want you to see me like this, but I have to stop you from saving him. Secretly, I am a werewolf. And then he turns into a werewolf. And he's like, and also, my motorcycle is also a werewolf. And then his motorcycle turns into a werewolf. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Midlight Crisis, a real podcast hosted by three grown-up biologists revisiting books from our teens, and it's totally cool. I am one of your hosts, Sophie, and today, shockingly, to all of us, I have still been genetically recombined with a bird that has a superpower. And that bird, and superpower, wait. But it's only 2%.
Sophie,
oh God, I got out of practice. No!
God.
I'm ringing in the last episode by failing at the introduction again.
It's a callback.
Callback, yeah. I did it on purpose. Anyway, the bird with the superpower that I have been 2% genetically recombined with today is Space Bean Cockatoo.
Space Bean.
Yeah.
I always forget what is the superpower space?
The superpower is space.
Is it that you can create space? Or you're from space? You can survive in space?
Yes, one of those for sure.
Yeah, one of those for sure. I think we had this exact argument about 4 episodes ago.
Probably.
I think I create space.
Okay.
Just a new one.
So you create new matter?
New universe. No, just a new universe. A new space zone.
Wouldn't that... Okay.
No.
I am the reason for the universe expanding.
No.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm making more space.
Then aren't you God?
Maybe.
Not.
Have you ever seen me and God in the same place before?
I mean, I've never
Wow.
seen
No.
God, so...
Wow, you see me every
It's
day.
true.
God damn it.
What if God was just a space bean cockatoo like one of us?
Stop.
Yeah, because we'll get copyright strike with my great singing.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's who I am. Who and what are you guys?
My name is Sam, and today I am 2% mixed with an inaccessible island titmouse.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it works for me.
The superpowers.
My superpower is inaccessible. No, I'm like Bella. You can't read my mind. I'm a shield.
Yeah, you have
Can't
no
read the
thoughts.
mind of this titmouse.
No thoughts. just vibes.
Nothing goes
No
on in that
thoughts.
titmouse.
Wow.
Interesting.
Bella really was just no thoughts, just vibes, huh?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, the whole book was
Yeah.
written, or whole trilogy was written, no, trilogy series was written in first person, so I don't think we can quite
That's
say
fair.
no thoughts,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
not great thoughts?
From Edward's perspective. Not great thoughts.
Mm.
He didn't have any great thoughts either.
No. I love the fan theory that the reason Edward can't read Bella's mind is just that there's nothing going on in there.
Nothing going on up there.
It's so funny.
Nothing happening.
Just
That's pretty
there's
good.
no thoughts to be heard.
Zero things happening. I'm choosing to believe that because you're an island titmouse, that it's just like a regular titmouse, but like island, the size thing where they either get like really teeny tiny or like really big. I want to choose to believe that the titmouse your genetics came from is just living on an island as like an ostrich.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah.
Or like hummingbird size. Is it only gigantism? What do islands do?
They make you stop flying sometimes.
Oh yeah. Well, you can still fly. That's
I
allowed.
want to fly.
Fly.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, who's the last one?
Yeah, me. I am also here. My name is Hannah, and today I have been genetically recombined with 2% of a wall-crawling cave cuckoo.
What?
Sorry?
A wall-crawling cave cuckoo?
I mean, that makes
Okay.
sense that you can
yeah.
crawl walls if you dwell in a cave.
Yeah.
Right? I think this one
Yeah.
has internal logic.
Yeah.
And I sit in the back top corner of the cave and I go, cuckoo, to concern people. Is that what cuckoos do?
Well, I was gonna ask if maybe your egg got snuck into like a bat nest.
Oh,
'Cause
probably.
cuckoos, I guess not all of them are brood parasites.
Are they
Or
brood
their
parasites?
eggs. I think they're brood parasites. Am I making that up?
I don't know.
I think
There's
they're
a lot
brood
of them.
parasites.
I think they are too.
Some species are brood parasites,
Great.
giving rise to the metaphor cuckoo's egg. Makes sense.
Is that a metaphor?
Yeah.
Let me just click on that blue link real quick.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's like a Trojan horse, but
But smaller.
bird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Right, because cuckoos are the ones where it's like a giant,
Oh, yeah.
enormous baby and like a chickadee is feeding.
Yeah.
Anyway, so your egg got put in among the bats, probably.
Yeah. I just live in there, in
Yeah.
the bat nest. The bat hatched me alongside its other eggs.
Yeah. Yeah. Just a cuckoo that screams to find bugs.
Yeah. I mean, bats do that.
Normal.
They
Exactly.
echolocate.
So
Yeah.
the cuckoo, yeah.
It
So
just-
the cuckoo's trying to echolocate.
Yeah. Oh, dear.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. That's not alarming in the slightest.
Okay. Great. We apparently biologize these bird kids way too much because this is the second half of the biologizing of the Maximum Ride, the Angel Experiment, bird kids. So, if you want to hear the other ones, maybe go back to listen to the first one, but you
Mhm.
don't have to.
Nope.
Yeah, so today we're gonna do the last couple of sections, which are behavior, superpowers, and I guess not even the bird kids,
Nope.
the erasers,
The erasers.
the other genetic experiments.
Uh-huh.
So, since we don't really have a format for this, maybe let's just get right into it.
Yeah.
I guess I'll start with some stuff that I have listed for Birdkid behaviors is that I was trying to pitch to you
I
guys
don't know.
that the bird kids are really good at moving together in the air and on the ground because they're like birds that flock together,
Uh-huh.
where birds focus on like the immediate surrounding birds in a flock. And when they see like 3 birds out react to like start to move towards them, they'll follow that movement. And that's how you get those like murmurations of birds where they all move together in like a weird sinuous way. So that was my pitch. That's why they're so coordinated, because they have something like that going on. And then Hannah, you said it was just training.
Ah. Uh-huh. I threw out my whimsy at the door that day, I guess.
Yeah, you will not play with me in this space. Absolutely not. So I guess here we stand divided, and Sam has to be the decision maker.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Come on, Sam.
Whimsy, whimsy, whimsy.
No.
Rational logic.
Yeah.
How dare you appeal to Sam's rational logic?
Yeah.
Sam,
It's
the experimental design.
no, it's just it's training.
Dang it.
Yeah.
Come on. How dare you?
It would have
Nice.
to be.
No. Fine. You're right.
I know.
Well, they're not. Are hawks, are raptors flocking birds? They're not, right?
We talked about this a little bit. Hawks will kind of flock when they're migrating.
Mm.
Like they migrate in big groups.
Uh-huh.
So, but not in the way that like little birds are. So fine, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And these are pretty big birds.
They are pretty big, everyone agrees.
Yeah. It's supported by the primary text.
Terrible primary text.
Uh-huh.
Okay, the next one I have is just for fun because none of us actually agreed on it. But we're like, wouldn't it be funny during one of these traumatic chapters about being in the lab if the Birdkids showed the bird fear response where they like get real poofy and then open their mouths like a big owl.
I still agree that would be funny.
I think it would be funny. But they probably didn't.
No, I don't think so.
And then we went back to being sad. So that's all I have about that. Okay, the one I think we need to address again because of the later books, now that we know what happened in some of the later books, was how did the Birdkids bring the ferruginous hawks
Oh, yeah.
to fight at the school? And we thought one of them maybe talked to animals.
We did think that.
And then one of the bird things we had suggested maybe is that chickadees can make an alarm call that like something like 50 other bird species respond to like mob a crow or something. And so we thought maybe one of the bird kids did that, like a psh, psh, psh noise.
Mm-hmm.
Would they have even known to do that though? No.
But we wondered if one of the bird kids just had that as an ability. But I think when we did the next books in the series, we learned that Angel can talk to fish, but that was it.
No,
right?
we learned in this book that she can talk to rats. Remember?
Oh yeah.
Oh, not talk to them, sorry. She can hear them. So
Right.
Yeah.
but Angel wasn't the one that brought the hawks.
Yeah.
It was Nudge and Fang, right?
Yeah. Or Iggy and the Gas Man?
Oh,
Or somebody?
I'd forgotten this happened altogether.
No,
I
don't
can't.
remember.
maybe it's just animal instincts, or maybe it's just
Yeah.
vibes.
Just vibes.
I think it might just be vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. One of the miscellaneous things that were in my episodes that maybe is relevant to this is we hypothesized that the ferruginous hawks are 2% human.
Did we? Why?
because for some reason they're social. Ferruginous hawks
Yeah.
are not social. They live near the school. We were like, maybe they just escaped from the school, and that's why they're like these weird hawks that are social.
Uh-huh.
And that's why they responded to the bird kids.
The
needing
only
help.
2% they got was the social behaviorism. Nothing physical or
Yeah.
anything. Just social genetics.
And that they hate the school.
The reason they need to be
Fair.
social is they have human vision, so they can't see that far.
Yeah.
They need to do
They can't.
cooperative hunting.
Oh.
Yeah. And instead of talons, they just have human
They
fingernails.
just have fingernails. Yeah. They have to wear shoes because otherwise their feet
That's
get
like
hurt on the
really
rocks.
unfortunate for those
Yeah, but
hawks.
okay, but we were like, in the fight, the ferruginous hawks like hate the erasers. Like they are
Like a
said
human.
to hate them. And so we're just like, and they hate them because they were raised at the school.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean,
So I'm standing by this.
I mean,
I
yes,
still like it. It's funny.
it's funny and it makes no sense, but
More fun. It makes- we have to work with what we're
Well,
given.
yeah, I was gonna
Why
say,
did the ferruginous hawks
I think
come?
we were just given another plot convenience thing, but
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah. This is nuclear dragons all over again.
Listen,
Yeah.
I know I support that theory so full-heartedly that it's right.
It's a good one.
Well, I'm validated by John Scalzi. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
He validated us.
It's right.
He has like legit clout is the only way I can think to phrase it.
Well, and
Yeah.
Christopher Paolini did it right because they wouldn't have known anything about what nuclear power is in this world.
Exactly. So it's magic.
It's just magic, but it's not actually magic. It's nuclear.
Yeah,
you can't convince me
exactly.
otherwise. Whereas I think these versionist hawks were just conveniently angry at the
devices.
erasers
Uh-huh.
because of the plot.
I
Yeah,
agree.
because of their 2% human.
Well,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
stand by it.
I'm not convinced of that one, but
I don't know. I think I'm gonna
Well-
ride that train. That's too funny.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
believe it. Exactly.
I'll just go be by myself.
Okay,
It's fine.
the next one I have is, a couple of these are now not useful anymore because we know that the voice is Angel. Somehow. But Max was feeling the rightness of it,
Oh.
them going to New York. And so we were trying to decide if it was her future sight or if it was her receiving bird migration instincts. But we were like, okay, birds learn where their home is and have that homing instinct by being born there. So Max wouldn't get that unless she was born in New York.
Whoa.
And then was like, I gotta get back there.
I gotta go.
Yeah. And then we talked about butterfly scent trails from butterfly migrations. Who even knows? But we did most importantly determine that the Birdkids would not be classified under the Migratory Bird Treaty Act because they're a hybrid and also they're introduced.
Mhm.
So they're not
They're
protected.
not a protected species.
Not a protected species, yeah.
And I guess 2% is enough bird to not be considered a human and thus be protected as one of those.
Yeah. Well, they don't have those laws against genetic recombination that we have in this dimension. So
True. It's just the
You
Wild
know?
West over there.
yeah, for real.
Mhm.
Wild West of 2006. Okay. Yeah, we mentioned this last time, but I had put it under behavior that what if the bird kids grab the tree when they relax
Oh,
while
yeah.
they're sleeping,
Oh.
like birds do?
Yeah, that would
Uh-huh.
make sense.
Exactly. And then we have another behavior where we didn't really figure it out, but where the kids are just worried. The bird kids are worried about taking off all the time. Like they never want to fly because they're like, wow, people are going to find us. I don't really know how that's behavior, but I put it here.
Uh-huh.
More behavior, which I guess is more psychological. We decided Max and Fang psychologically can fall in love, even though they grew up together.
Uh-huh.
Because they grew up in different households, bracket, dog craze.
Wait, what? Really? Did we do that?
Okay.
That's what we decided.
That's what we decided. That's cool of us.
Oh.
I think I was being like, no, they grew up in different households because they grew up in different dog cranes. And you both made horrified noises, and then I counted it as a win.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
History has just repeated
Wow.
itself.
It has.
Yeah, once again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Another one we determined, well, did we decide it? I think a lot of this was me throwing spaghetti at the wall
Uh-huh.
and you guys just not arguing with it.
Uh-huh.
The bird kids probably sleep really well because hawks being hooded puts them like to sleep / calms them down.
Right.
So the bird kids probably like sleep great every night.
Just got to put on an eye mask and they're conked out.
Exactly.
Wish it was that easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could use 2% hawk for that.
Yeah,
Please. and thank
same.
you.
Yeah. I couldn't fall asleep last night despite the fact that I was on a red-eye flight the night before and got a maximum 2 hours of sleep. So I just
a
laid
maximum ride of 2 hours.
a
sleep.
maximum ride of 2 hours of sleep. So I just lay in my
Yeah.
bed being exhausted and awake and I was like, what
Great.
the hell?
Good. Great and good. Useful.
So good.
So good. And that's all the behavior I have.
I have one small thing. I don't even know if it really
Okay.
counts, but at one point in the last few chapters, though it is a figure of speech, Max says that they lick their wounds, to which Sophie informed us that birds cannot, in fact, lick their wounds, and birds will usually just die of their injuries.
Oh yeah.
So I
Yeah,
don't.
that behavior of dying.
It's the behavior of
Yeah.
licking said wounds that they cannot lick.
Yeah, the behavior of the lack thereof.
Though,
There isn't one.
Yeah,
They don't lick.
though I'm pretty sure it was just a figure of speech, but throw it in there. Why the
Yeah.
hell not?
Yeah.
We had
Why
to
not?
confirm that it was just a figure of speech.
Well, that's it. We don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe they were sitting there licking their wounds. Who knows?
Yeah. Who knows?
Who knows?
Like humans do.
like humans do.
Boring.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we argued about that too because wasn't I like, have you never put your
The paper
Yeah.
paper cut finger in your mouth?
Yeah, you did argue that counts as licking your wounds. I still disagree.
Uh-huh. Divisive.
Yeah. We're really dividing the
Team wet and team dry all over
Oh,
again.
Oh no.
Okay, Hannah, what do you have?
That's it. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I think sorted most of my behavior notes in with like their flying and other parts of the physiology. The one thing that I did note specifically under this category is from when they being Fang and Nudge, are flying with the ferruginous hawks and
Yeah.
notice both like how to learn better flight behaviors from observing the hawks,
Mhm.
and B, that these hawks are communicating with each other using their movement, which like hawks don't really communicate by body language except in courtship.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
somehow that connects to us. They learn things by observing, which is something birds can do.
Yeah.
I don't know if they can actually speak by body language.
That's fair. I bet it's because the ferruginous hawks are 2% human.
That's
why it
probably
worked.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah, all of that. Sure. I agree
yeah.
with that.
I didn't have a conclusion to make, to be honest.
Perfect.
It does make more sense if the hawks are 2% human, though.
Yeah. If you think about it, everything makes more sense.
That's
If
so
the hawks
funny.
are 2% human.
I think that's
love
my
it.
favorite thing so far.
Me too. Only because we had to agree that they don't fly in fetal position. Otherwise, that would be my
That
favorite.
would have been the favorite, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's behavior. Let's do superpowers.
Okay. Should we go one Birdkid at a time?
Yeah. Oldest to youngest, so the middle ones will be really fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't have anything for Max. She didn't develop her voice or whatever the fuck is going on with her in the beginning of the book.
Yeah, all I have is Max likely has schizophrenia as a note.
That's yeah.
So
Yeah.
Notable superpower,
That-
schizophrenia.
yeah.
Yeah. I think that we also talked about that in my episode. Yeah, this is sort of like Angels because we know now that I have the episodes where Max starts seeing images in her head, but we know now that that's Angel putting them there.
I think we could talk about the voice as a Max power since it
Yeah,
is
that's
focused
true.
on her.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, Max initially starts the superpower, quote unquote, by just seeing images, and then it's the voice talking to her, which is still a little confusing because it's talking to her through the Ouija board.
Oh yeah.
Like, how is Angel doing that? Unless Angel is making her see it, like thinking that's what's happening.
Angel
Oh.
also have telekinesis?
Yeah, maybe
Don't
that.
think she
Or like,
does.
yeah. Like I was thinking maybe that Angel is projecting into Max's head that Max is seeing this. So Max thinks she's seeing it, but it's not actually happening.
Yeah.
And then but then another one, there's like the computer talking to Max
Yeah.
that all the kids see.
Yeah.
So is then Angel making it seem like the kids are reacting to it like to Max? Like is she fucking with Max that badly?
Maybe.
Yeah. Angel doesn't have computer powers. Nudge has computer powers.
No. Like, that's why I sort of think it's that she's projecting, like, this hallucination where it seems like these things are happening, but they might not be. I want it noted that on the very first time of Max seeing images, I was like, wait, doesn't Angel learn how to project images at some point?
Oh.
But on the second one, Hannah, you're the one who's like, doesn't Angel turn evil and do something like that or something like that? Neither of us connected it to the voice.
Yeah.
But it was while we were talking about this that each of us were like, wait, doesn't Angel do something like this
Interesting.
later?
Somehow we connected that dot.
Yeah. And then the only other thing I have is that hallucinations, again, before we knew the voice was Angel, hallucinations are sometimes found in gene therapy gone wrong.
Oh.
So,
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. If she's undergoing, if gene therapy was part of them becoming Birdkids,
Yeah.
then it could also be a side effect of that.
Yeah. I think we ultimately decided no, though, because they were amniocentesis to somehow.
Yeah. And then also the hallucinations are not in Max's head. Well, they are, but they're put there by Angel. So, yeah, those were my Max superpowers.
Wow.
Which is just Angel's superpower,
Angel's
really.
superpower. Yeah. I don't think Max has, like, Max develops other superpowers in later books where she can go very fast, breathe underwater, and play dead. But I think the voice is the only one in this book.
Yeah. Yeah, because if you guys don't know anything, then what? Does Fang do anything?
I don't think so.
Anybody got anything about Fang?
I can't think of anything for Fang. Again, in later books, he develops camouflage, the ability to breathe underwater, and something about him holds the key to immortality, which we don't even need to get into. But none of that's in this book.
It's his whole sexy thing, remember? He's just so hot.
He's just so hot.
Based on the blog, based on the secondary material.
God.
It's just he's so hot he can't die.
Yeah.
Wow.
What a power. It's truly a curse, honestly.
It's a real romance novel trope at this point.
Yeah.
Too hot to die.
Too hot to die. Maybe he turns into a motorcycle werewolf.
Wow. It's a tragic. He and his motorcycle both turn into werewolves.
Wow. They could never be together because they werewolf at opposite times of the month.
I never wanted you to see me and my motorcycle like this. Both the werewolves. Anyway.
Oh my god.
Who's the next one?
Iggy?
Iggy, yeah.
Again, he eventually develops the ability to feel colors, but that's not in this book.
Yeah, and we've already talked about his, like, crazy super hearing ability in the ears part. So,
yeah.
It's not really, like, we're not sure if it's a superpower. It kind of has to be, but it's not ever called that, you know?
No.
So.
I still don't think it is. I think he's just
I think it's because
a blind kid.
Blind, yeah.
And maybe an owl.
Yes, also
maybe
that.
an owl, yeah.
Hi, editing Hannah here. Despite the fact that we've been doing this podcast for almost 4 years, we somehow forgot to do any transition whatsoever. So, in this next section, we're talking about Nudge. Thanks.
I mostly just had the episode where Nudge develops what Hannah informed us is called psychometry, which I think Sophie knew what it was.
Oh, yeah.
And I had no idea what it was before that. But anyways, it's the ability to see the memories of an object or something like that. And Hannah informed us that this is a Force ability in Star Wars. So
it sure is.
Yeah, and I guess it's a real thing. I just not a real thing. Is it a real thing? I don't know. Anyways, I didn't know what it was.
It depends on who
not
you
real.
ask.
Yeah, that's okay.
It's not real,
Actually,
but it's a...
So sorry, I just read my next note, which said it's part of the whole psychic world, but whether people are actually doing it remains to be seen. So I had this in a note. I just didn't go down and read it yet before I started talking. But anyways, Nudge has psychometry. I don't know. We didn't really go too much about the actual science of psychometry. I mean, we could do that now if we really want to, but
didn't we think something about how she was like actually just tapping into a camera or something?
Oh yeah, you said something like that.
Because we were trying to be like, okay, but how could it, like, psychometry doesn't make sense because objects wouldn't like hold memories.
But what if
Yeah.
they do?
Oh my god.
What if
Whoa,
they do?
wait.
Yeah.
What if they do? No, but since she has like technology stuff, we were like, maybe she can like Angel can read the electrical impulses in a brain. Maybe Nudge is doing the same thing with like the computer, so the computer camera or because she saw someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if, because like keystroke loggers exist, I wonder if she's picking up something like that, because she does it with a computer, right, Sam?
Yeah, it's to like figure out the password, and she like sees
Right.
the redheaded woman that is like typing away at the computer. So yes, and this is ringing a bell. It seems I just took very bad notes. Oops.
No, that's fair. You took the important part.
Yeah.
No, I think it's just one of those ones where it's like, no.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
No, she can't.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that she does it on a computer, and we later find out that she like develops computer related powers and like tech powers. Like she's somehow
yeah.
a natural hacker and develops this like magnetism. Somehow it's connected.
Yeah, I would say like her ability is definitely maybe not psychometry then in the sense of that it's more just technology based, and
Yeah.
like psychometry is probably the correct word for what it is that she did, but we don't know if she can do it with like every kind of object. Like if she saw a pen, would she know what was written with the pen last?
Mhm.
Yeah, because like she got the correct information. She got the password. So like something was going on.
Yeah.
But like maybe whatever information she was getting, the way your human brain processes it, it like gave her this like invented person. Like it was like, oh, you saw the person typing in the computer. But like that wasn't what the computer was telling her, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I like the idea that this is specifically like a tech focused ability that she has.
Yeah.
That in this case looks like psychometry. I think that is the most parsimonious idea.
I agree.
I like that one. Maybe the computer is 2% first.
Sophie.
Yeah.
No. That implies like cyborg level stuff.
It's got 2 eyeballs on the
Stop
monitor.
it right now.
I mean, it could just be AI. Maybe she can talk to AI.
Stop it right now.
2006?
Well, they have advanced enough science and shit that they can make Birdkids and
That's
erasers.
true.
They could probably make AI. I don't know anything about AI, but that seems like something that would exist.
I have thoughts.
And then the computer laid an egg. Okay, anyway. Who's the next one? Gasman. His superpower of IBS.
Oh my god, this
Yes.
poor child. It's not fair.
Okay. But also, in the first chapter, it mentions that Gasman has mimicry powers like a parrot, and then it never comes up again.
I forgot that
Wow.
completely.
I also
So
forgot
had
that.
I.
Yeah, because you
Why?
mentioned that in the last episode where we were like talking about the next books, and I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. I didn't know it was
Yeah.
mentioned in the first chapter. Wow, my brain
Yeah.
is a sieve.
No, I've forgotten it too.
was like 2
It's-
years ago.
yeah.
It's fair.
Yeah, it's just interesting that it comes up that he can mimic voices perfectly,
and never
and then just
again.
never again.
Oh my god, I've yelled about this so many times, but just come up with like one thing for each of them and then be creative with how they have to use them.
Yeah,
It's so much more fun that way.
yeah.
Oh my god, I'm so mad. I'm so mad.
And that
This
leads
is
us
making me more mad.
that leads us into our discussion on Angel.
Wow.
Oh,
The
Angel.
most terrifying bird kid.
Yeah. He also does develop like actual superpower IBS at one point, where he can release a noxious gas, but that's not in this book.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Yeah.
That relates to his sister in one of our theories.
Oh my god.
Really?
Whoa, wait.
Well, because I'm gonna go
Please
into
explain.
it's Angel's turn, right? So I'm just gonna go into it.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
one
go
of
for it.
the theories for Angel's underwater breathing, which we realize all the kids eventually get. But one of the theories was that Angel is in fact a biological weapon, and the gas coming out of her nose is actually chlorine gas, and that it's likely that there's electrolysis going on somewhere in there. And so Gasman may release noxious from one hole, but Angel releases a noxious gas from the other hole, apparently. I hated that whole sentence.
To be fair, they never specified where Gasman releases his.
No, it's
gas
fair.
from.
I just felt it was a lead into the
Yep.
one theory we had about the underwater breathing, and
But maybe he's also breathing it out, like Angel is.
It could be.
oh god.
Wow, okay, wait, no. I'm on board again. This solidifies it for me. They're doing electrolysis in their
Our
guts.
winner for the underwater breathing was the electrolysis is either taking place in the throat or stomach, like we didn't really decide which one, and that the leaking water out of their throat is like some sort of tube nose mechanism. But like electrolysis was the winning option in that episode, so
wow.
Can we go back and describe what the water breathing looks like? Because I remember it was wild, but I don't think I remember all the details.
Yeah, so essentially Angel would breathe in water, I guess swallow it, and then water goes down her throat, then water comes out through the neck, and air comes out through the nose. So
Right.
So she breathes out air after swallowing
Or chlorine
water.
gas.
Swallowing water.
yeah,
Or chlorine gas. And
She breathes
then
out a gas.
Liquid
Yeah.
seeps.
and
Okay.
then the water or the liquid comes out through the pores on the neck. So
Uh-huh.
Right. And so we were thinking that maybe she wasn't actually exhaling. She was just like burping.
yeah, because Sophie told us about this lovely catfish species that swallows air and not water, but the gas exchange occurs in the stomach in this species, apparently. So then
Right.
that was the
Ah.
theory that the gas exchange was going on in the stomach, but then I was very concerned about the fact that the stomach couldn't handle that much water because there wasn't enough water coming out of the neck that would suggest that everything in the stomach was also coming out. So like there was still something sitting in the stomach, so it doesn't make full sense. So then that point aside, then we got into an electrolysis thing, which is where we ultimately landed, and we're uncertain whether or not the electrolysis occurs in the throat or the stomach, but something is happening, and then we think that the gas coming out is actually potentially chlorine gas and not carbon dioxide.
I believe it. And this would make sense because they wouldn't want to breathe in water.
Yeah.
Because then the water would get into all their air sacs.
Oh,
and
true.
that would be bad.
Yeah.
So she is just swallowing it. And then whatever's going on is going on there.
And it would make sense that the electrolysis occurs in the throat, not the stomach, because then maybe they don't need to be breathing in as much water as we're possibly assuming. So there is equal amounts of water going in and out. Whereas if it was going into the stomach, like you would have to have a ginormous stomach to be able to sustain breathing water for a long time. Or maybe this is just like a short-term thing, like if they end up, I don't know. Anyways,
that's what I was just gonna say. I wonder if it's
I
short-term
doubt it, but
because they're holding their breath, so they have a lot of oxygen in their lungs, and then they're swallowing water to get like oxygen extracted there, and then even if it went into their stomach, I'm wondering if the water that came out their necks, right? We said it was like tube noses, so it's like high levels of minerals.
Yeah.
So that's where all the salt is coming out. And then what if the rest of the water is just like swallowed, ingested, right? And it's just like
Just absorbed.
but because by then it's fresh water if they're extracting all the salts out of it.
I think Sam's concerned about the volume, though, right?
yeah.
But then they really just have to pee. Like they have a limited time they can go in the water. And then at the end of it, they just really have to pee because they've swallowed all this water.
but but I am concerned about the volume, like just like the sheer amount So
Mhm.
it would depend on like how long would one swallow of water sustain them for. But also, isn't
Yeah.
water poisoning a thing? Like,
It is.
Yeah.
you can drink too much water to the point that it would. I don't. Does it kill you? I don't actually know.
Yeah.
I
anything.
think it can.
I think it causes osmosis.
Yeah.
Like all the salts in your body start going into the water or
Yeah.
something like that.
Into your blood, I think.
Yeah.
So I just struggle with it on all of
Yeah.
those fronts.
I think you're right, and I think most of the water has to go out of their
it
neck.
has
Yeah.
You know?
to. I don't see a reality in which it makes sense on a biological or physiological level for them to be ingesting that much water to sustain long-term underwater breathing.
Mm-hmm.
So like maybe if it was a short-term thing, like, oh, I get dunked down and someone's forcing me down, but like I have enough, I can take 1, 2, 3 breaths or something before my stomach fills up. But I have a feeling this is something that they like can do for a long extended period of time. So
Yeah.
yeah, there has to be a way that the water is fully leaving them.
Yeah. I feel like, again, if it's like something that the tube noses use, they do secrete like water
Mm-hmm.
with the salt, right? Because they have to keep it.
Well, that's what I'm
liquid.
saying, right? It's like I think the process is going on at the throat. And I think, yes, whatever's coming out might be a little bit more saline than normal, and maybe there's still some ingestion of water, but I think there has to be some way of expelling majority of the water,
Yeah.
is more my point.
I think tube noses, they swallow the water all the way to their stomach, and then they still, like, it
Yeah.
comes out as water pulled from this body system as well as all the salts.
That's fine.
And so I'm wondering if they, yeah, and so maybe it can still happen in the stomach. Is all that I'm saying.
Okay, yeah,
I think the gas exchange does occur in the stomach,
okay.
like we said. I agree with Sam, though, that, like, the way, if I remember correctly, it's described as the water trickles out of her neck.
Yeah.
And, like, tube noses and stuff are usually used to remove water that is accidentally ingested during feeding, which is a much different order of magnitude of volume compared to how much water needs to pass over, like, a gill or, I guess, a stomach lining for gas exchange.
Yeah.
So, like, I really like the idea we came up with, but I do agree with Sam that, like, the volume of water is not accounted for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe they also have amphibian skin, really thin, and gas exchange occurs over.
But that doesn't.
And they just didn't mention it.
No.
Yeah, it's.
I wonder if
then
she
they
like,
don't need as much.
I wonder if she spits up the water in between swallows.
That's not mentioned.
You know?
But maybe.
No, but like
Yeah.
maybe it is.
Maybe she's peeing the whole time.
No.
That's what I would be doing.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Maybe she has more holes like all over her arms and back, and they just didn't talk about those.
Uh-huh.
And they're all leaking water at the same time.
Yeah,
Ugh.
for sure.
Yeah.
And we thought the gas coming out of her nose is a byproduct. Sorry, a byproduct of the electrolysis,
Yeah.
not carbon dioxide.
That was like our final thought on that episode, but I mean, like, we can backtrack on that. But I think it makes more sense than it being carbon dioxide, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Where did we
No,
say
I
the
agree.
chlorine gas was coming from?
The electrolysis process?
I feel like I've forgotten how electrolysis works. Please help.
It's because I didn't explain it because I don't really know how it works. But I looked at the chemical thing with the arrow pointing one way and the other way, where it shows like it turns into this or it turns back to that.
Yeah,
and
the equilibrium reaction.
And it was because on one side it was salt water, like NaCl. And then on the other side, somehow it was separating, right? Like you'd separate the oxygen out of H2O. And then you'd end up with chlorine gas and sodium
Hydroxide.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's just like a process of separating the ions from the
Yeah.
water. So that's how you end up with chlorine gas, which is
Coming out of the salt.
Yeah, because you separate the NaCl, and that's where you get the sodium hydroxide and the chloride gas. And then if you put those together, then you get the NaCl.
Yes.
Yes.
Electrolysis of brine produces hydrogen and chlorine
Yeah.
gases.
Mm-hmm. And fresh water,
And-
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Which she would.
Or no, just gas.
So wait.
Oh, and it produces, so it doesn't produce water.
Oh.
It produces,
Produces gases. It splits the water itself.
yeah, we thought the liquid coming out of her throat was going to be sodium hydroxide, and then the gas coming out was hydrogen and chlorine gas.
Yeah, this is making more sense. I should have looked more up into electrolysis because I used to kind of understand it. That's okay.
I think we had sort of determined that, like, this doesn't currently exist, and it
Yeah.
can't exist, but, like, there is enough there that maybe possibly it would make sense.
Yeah. With the other
know?
weird 2006 sci-fi magic going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. For it to work, she would have to have something in her body that's acting as both the anode and cathode to, like,
Yeah.
even start.
Nuclear angel.
I mean, that's not.
Electric angel.
Ooh.
She's the cyborg.
Wow.
And yeah, I used to know this a lot better because I had to teach myself electrochemistry at one point.
Angel is 2% that computer, and that computer is 2%
Yeah.
Angel.
It's all coming together.
It's all coming together. It all makes sense now.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyways, that.
Well, I'll sign off on that.
Yeah.
Sounds right to me.
good.
Angel can breathe water because of electrolysis and gas exchange occurring in the
Yeah.
stomach.
Yeah.
This is fine.
Angel just has jumper cables inside her at all times. It's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, they have microchips in them. We don't know. Maybe they
She could.
can anyone prove she doesn't have jumper
Eh?
cables inside her?
No one can.
No.
can.
No one can.
Okay, yeah, no, I think the only other thing I had then, yeah, was that she can get the vibes off animals. This is where I was talking to Sophie before Hannah joined the call earlier, and I was like, my note just says just vibes, and I don't understand why I did that. And it was because the
Yeah.
first note says, if you could read an animal's brain, what language would they be thinking in? And the response to that is just
Oh,
vibes,
that.
because we had a whole discussion
It's vibes.
on how we weren't sure if you could read an animal's brain, what would you be reading exactly? And then I admitted that I think about it a lot, and then we found out what my Roman Empire was, and it blew Hannah and Sophie's mind.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's
Yeah.
besides the point, because yeah, Angel's superpower is that she can get the vibes off animals, but then we also discerned that part of the superpower is that you can translate the animal thoughts. So I think this just goes
Right.
along with her general mind reading in that it's just extended to all animals, but then we were unsure if all animals includes all animals and to which extent
Yeah.
it ends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's that.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're
Wow.
speechless.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything to say about Angel talking to animals.
Shockingly, we don't have thoughts about Angel talking to animals. She can talk to humans.
Wait, no, she
so
can't.
She can
She
talk
can't
to
talk
animals.
to them.
Yeah.
She can just
Oh,
read
sorry.
Oh, right. She gets
their
the vibes.
vibes.
She can read
She
their
also
vibes.
like Max is like one of the only examples we have of Angel talking in someone else's head.
Yeah. And she
Kind
also
of thing.
cons that one woman into buying Celeste the
Oh,
stuffed
yeah.
bear for her.
Oh, I forgot
Yes.
about that.
So
Uh-huh.
I agree that she can read animal thoughts, but
Yeah.
I refuse to define to what
Yeah.
taxonomic level.
yeah, I mean,
There's not enough information.
we didn't do it then either, because
Yep.
Owl hazard vertebrates.
yeah, but that's what we
Yeah,
said. And then
yeah.
I was like, well, what about a squid or an octopus? Because I can guarantee you,
She would 100%
Or a
be able to
lobster.
talk to an
Yeah.
octopus. No, she wouldn't be able to talk to a lobster because nobody thinks crustaceans are animals or whatever.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I think. Yeah. Yeah. Some people don't even think fish are animals. People are dumb.
But I think we talked about this, how I feel like she'd be able to talk to an octopus, but she wouldn't be able to talk to like a snail
Yeah. Which doesn't make sense either.
or like a clam.
I was reading about something recently and I have forgotten the name for it. It might just be like brain body quotient or something like that. Where like generally the intelligence or potential intelligence of a being can be approximated by how big its brain is relative to its body size. So maybe Angel has
Oh.
something where like she can get the vibes from an animal that has X threshold of the like brain to body ratio and therefore has X threshold of like perceived or presumed intelligence.
Interesting. Yeah. Or maybe it's like nearness to human brainwaves.
Yeah. But then she wouldn't be able to talk to a squid
Yeah.
because those things are wild.
I wonder if she can talk to slime molds since they can problem solve.
See,
How do hive
I
minds
think
work?
we just need to accept the unknown.
Take it at face value.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Wow.
I'm going to go with either vertebrates or brain body ratio. I feel like those are safe.
Yeah, that feels right. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have one thing for Angel, and it's kind of it's kind of her superpowers, but it's also just her. We decided that Angel is the way she is because she has been adjacent to 2 experiments at least who have died.
Oh, yeah.
Well, she could read their thoughts.
Oh, right.
So she has experienced other sentient beings dying from in their heads. So that's probably why she's just really messed up.
Yeah. We also talked similarly about how she might not have like developed her own personality, or if she did, it probably developed incorrectly because she's constantly hearing everybody else's thoughts all the time
Oh, yeah.
from like the time she was an infant,
Yeah.
which is related. So she probably has
Ugh.
personality disorders as a result
Yeah.
of being able to read everybody's mind all the time.
I'm like staring into the distance in mild horror thinking about that.
Yeah, it's really gross. I don't like it.
Wow.
We didn't actually talk about her mind reading ability at all because we've talked about
Oh.
mind reading in
Oh,
both
yeah.
Twilight and Aragon before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We still don't have a good reason for that, to be honest. But-
Magique.
No,
Magique.
I thought it was like electrical pulses, waves.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, but how does she
EEGs
feel it?
or something.
Uh,
like
Yeah,
EEGs.
It's like
It's like
EEGs,
radio
okay.
waves. They just come to your brain. Like
Yeah.
electrical pulses.
Yeah.
Waves.
Yeah, for sure. Angel receives
She's got,
electrical
like,
pulses.
Yeah, it's like boa constrictors and their little heat pits on their
Yeah.
faces. She's just got a bunch of holes. It's like
Yeah,
sharks with their Lauren whatever.
Impurity of Lorenzini.
Yeah, she's got those.
2% bird, 2% shark.
All percent. Terrifying.
Problem. She also
No,
can't hear
all
Jeb's
percent.
thoughts, which is
Oh, I forgot about that
Interesting.
too.
yeah. Jeb clearly
He has
has
no thoughts either.
Unlike Bella, Jeb has clearly got a lot going on up there.
Or is it just vibes?
It's just vibes.
Well, he's like doing conspiracies and shit.
He's just
This- the
thinking
vibes of
in
conspiracy.
like God hymns.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's just yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's
He
transcended
prayed to
this
God.
vein of mortal thought.
Yeah, he prayed to God to not have his thoughts overheard, and then it happened.
Wow, amazing. Amen.
You know how it
Alleluia,
is.
etc. Yeah, because this is like a 2006-ish sci-fi, he probably has some kind of like drug or something that makes it
Oh,
so
yeah.
that he can block his own brainwaves from being perceived or whatever.
Absolutely.
Or maybe a silly hat.
Or maybe Angel was lying,
Oh.
and she's in cahoots with him.
Uh-huh. Even in first
Yeah.
person? She was
Yeah.
lying? Or I guess it wasn't in
Yep.
first person, was it?
It was in third person because Angel
person.
can't think of herself in first person.
Oh god, that child is fucked up
It's really messed up.
in so many different ways.
Great. Well, that's the last of the Birdkids
Yeah.
and their superpowers.
Wow.
We hope you've enjoyed today's episode, but
No,
record scratch, wait.
Wait, there's more. Let's talk about the other quote-unquote successful
Well,
genetic recombination
Well-
erasers? Well,
are they called erasers because they get erased from the world so fast?
yeah. I think we said it was because they do erasing of people.
Oh, did we actually talk
disappear
about
people.
this? Wow, my memory is so bad. I should have been the one
We're
listening
trapped
to the
in an
first
endless
episodes.
loop.
I don't remember anything.
My favorite things about these episodes are the fact that we clearly don't remember the majority of what we said, so we get to have the same ideas and or be surprised by the same
Several
jokes
times.
over again.
Yeah.
Wild.
It's very funny.
Yeah. All right. The erasers.
Yeah.
I have a couple things.
Yeah.
Again, they are, in case anybody's forgotten, because they haven't been around in a while,
Oh, yeah.
they are extremely hot and persuasive sounding grown men who can turn into wolfmen with wolfish muzzles, red eyes, furry ears, yellow canines, bad breath, etc., etc. And
Yeah.
they do not live very long and are very violent.
Yeah. And we know the main one, Ari, is
Mhm.
8 years old, but he looks like a male model, an adult male model.
Yeah. Gross.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're right. That was the correct way to do that. So
Got too excited.
So the erasers are probably undergoing hormone therapy. That's probably how they get just beautiful
Uh-huh.
all over, I guess.
Yeah.
We have that the erasers outweigh Max by 160 pounds,
What?
which is a lot.
Wow.
But also we decided that the Birdkids have bird bones, like we talked about.
Oh, yes.
Mhm.
So, yeah, the erasers just probably have a lot more bone mass and muscle. Another one we have is that Ari apparently has horrible blood.
Oh.
Explain.
I don't remember that at all.
Yep, Max bites Ari at some point, and he has horrible blood. So we decided that maybe they have something like shark blood, which has urea in it,
Oh, that is gross.
because it is extra gross. Like, we were trying to figure out what makes it more gross than regular blood.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing we know is that sharks smell terrible.
Yeah. Do snakes have gross urea blood? Because you were really on the snake train in some of the earlier chapters with respect to these erasers.
Yeah, I think I also talked about it here. Snakes don't have urea blood, but we did call back here about how maybe they are part shark because of the teeth
Yes. Oh, well,
also.
I have opinions.
So you can
on
get
the
to
teeth.
that. Yeah. But I'm just saying maybe also the blood
Mhm.
could be part of it.
Okay.
And then another one I have is that we decided that the embryo of a human child has already started to develop, and then they add the wolf genetics to it, which
Okay.
speeds it up, which explains
yeah.
why their lifespan is kind of weird. Like, it's not quite as short as a wolf lifespan, especially as like a kid, but then it does seem more like a wolf lifespan than a human one later on. And then we also talked about how maybe it's actually that the metamorphosis ages them faster. Because Hannah mentioned how every time your cells divide, particularly as a teen, like every time you undergo mitosis, you age
Uh-huh.
faster.
Those telomeres.
Yeah, and so we were hypothesizing that the number of times they metamorphose from wolfman to human to wolfman to human ages them a little bit. And that's why they grow so quickly. Or age so quickly.
That doesn't really account for the fact that I think Sam alluded to that they have inbuilt expiration dates,
Yeah.
which we find out like later. or I found out at least reading the summaries of the other books, Ari literally hits his expiration and dies like mid-sentence.
Yeah. We talked about how, again, gene therapy can like fuck you right up when it goes wrong. So maybe it's just that like the erasers are more dependent on gene therapy to just like be what they are.
Right.
Rather than the Birdkids, which seem pretty self-sustaining with the genetics that they were given.
Yeah.
And so maybe their expiration date is more because like you're going to be able to handle the gene therapy for a couple of years and then that's it.
Yeah, and then they just like induce apoptosis or something instead of having them turn into cancer and die slowly.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah, because in my chapters we also talked about how they're on version 6 of the erasers, which is
gross.
the first version where there's a female eraser.
Oh, yeah.
What the heck?
This isn't biology, but we were like, the dude erasers all get to be male models, and the one female eraser has to be dressed in a clown costume. Because she was a clown.
Oh.
And then she was chasing them down the street in the clown costume.
Was she at least hot under there?
They never said that.
They never said.
So.
Great.
And yeah, that's all my eraser stuff.
Wow.
Whomst is next?
I don't have a lot, but I have that we believe that the eraser metamorphosis is likely extremely painful, and therefore the pain receptors were probably bred out of them or genetically removed so that they don't feel it.
Great.
So, yeah, they don't have pain receptors. Also explains how they can get the living shit beat out of them and continue walking. So there's that. And then
I think that's still a good one.
yeah, I think that holds. And Hannah informed us, which I didn't know. I don't remember if Sophie knew this before, but wolves only live to be 5 years old. So it kind of makes sense that the expiration date for the erasers is what it is. And then we discussed that the reason for the terrible lab carpeting is because dogs have poor traction on smooth floors, and therefore the carpets in the labs are actually for the erasers. But I still don't buy that because there's lots of other different things. And anyways, the fucking shag carpeting. We're never not going to be mad about it. But anyways.
It's so dumb.
So, the erasers, because at one point Ari slips on a pipe or something in the sewer. So,
because the floor is too smooth and slippery.
Yeah.
Or his paws.
Wow, great point.
Yeah. They just clumsy little dogs. It's fine.
Yeah.
And then we talk about how strong they are, because in the last chapter during Max and Ari's fight, where if you've forgotten, Max kills Ari. Ari is described as being as strong as a team of ox, which then Hannah did some delightful research that an ox can pull up to 2 times its weight. So there's a potential that Ari is able to kick at 2,000 pounds of force, and only 900 pounds of force is needed to break a femur. So they strong as fuck.
Wow.
Is the conclusion on that.
Incredible.
I had a lot of eraser stuff, although it did just only occur to me. Maybe I mentioned it in the episodes, and it is occurring to me for the first time, a second time.
Again. Yeah.
That wolves do live longer in captivity.
You did mention
they can
that.
live like over 15 years in captivity. Okay.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, because the erasers are kept in a really enriching and good environment. So that's why they can live longer.
Yeah, like wolves don't live very long in the wild, but it's because they get injured.
And they've taken that away.
Yeah, that was going to be my point, is that I think they're kind of in between. It's like a wolf in the wild is 5 years, let's say, captivity 14 to 15 years old. So genetically modified dog wolf kid 7.
Yeah. 7. Halfway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah. Okay. So we talked a bit about how Ari was a regular child who was turned into an eraser, but most erasers are created thusly as embryos. I don't think we
Yeah.
came to any conclusions, and I do not have one now as to how this is possible.
No. They're playing
But-
fast and loose with both the bird
Yeah.
kids and the dog
Yeah.
boys.
Yeah. Yeah. In these like early chapters, I was really on the train of a lot of this like transformation in behavior and like physiology being hormone mediated, particularly something like testosterone, which makes you like muscular and aggressive, and I think promotes the growth of antlers in deer, which, as Sophie noticed, is the fastest growing animal tissue. So there might be something in that with respect to how the erasers can transform from seemingly human men into werewolves.
Wow, I would love a book where it takes them like 2 weeks to turn into a werewolf
And then they just rampage around for a few days and then slowly turn back.
and then spend 2
Or do
weeks
they-
turning back.
Do they shed the werewolf like a buck does his antlers?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah, they unzip him.
Like a snake.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, one
Yeah.
of the things, a lot of my notes focused on, like, how the heck do these erasers transform?
Yeah, we didn't talk about it, so.
Well, one of the conclusions we came to is maybe they're like Transformers and they flip their skin inside out. So
Okay, I love it.
that you
Yeah,
would. I
sounds
think
right.
that was yours.
I believe it.
Yeah. Anyway, so when they transform, one of the things that happens is their muzzles extend and their teeth protrude. And Sophie suggested the snake connection here, both in that snakes have kinetic skulls, which means there's joints in the skull that allow the head to change shape while preserving like the brain case. And also that some snakes, like vipers, have hinged fangs, so the fangs like fold up, I guess, against the roof of the mouth, which could be the case with these teeth that erupt from the eraser's mouth.
Yeah.
It does say that they erupt from their gums when they transform, so I was on team Toothless the Dragon, or we also
Yeah.
brought up the fact that they could be like sharks, where they just rapidly regrow these teeth every time they transform into eraser wolves and then lose them when they transform back.
If they have like a kinetic skull, maybe part of the kinetics is like that the teeth just like the whole
Pop
like
up.
mandible
Yeah.
pops up and down, you know?
Yeah.
Yuck, but you know.
Yeah, yuck, but yes. There was the issue that wolves have 10 more teeth than humans do,
Yeah.
but maybe when the skull kinetics
Mhm. Kinetes?
just like
no.
kinetes moves is
No.
what kinetic means,
Yeah.
able to move.
Yeah.
Maybe when the skull moves, some more teeth just like unfold, like you were saying. Not unfold, but like parts of the jaw unfold and pop out.
Yeah.
So that fits with that.
Sure.
I think the kinetic skull theory, while gross, is plausible.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I think because it's something that can just like quickly go back, you know?
Yeah, like they can transform back and forth
Yeah.
without, having to shed their skin.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing we talked about with the transformation is that they get very hirsute and become
Oh yeah.
much hairier as wolves than they are as people. And Sophie was an absolute criminal in this section by
Oh.
positing that the hair is not hair,
Oh, yes.
and you you suggested things like they are flaps of like papillae, or perhaps that they're covered in filamentous bacteria that doubles in size very quickly,
Wow. Yeah, that's probably it.
which I hate. I think Sam were more on the side of like maybe they have like something in the way that the hair on their body is like held or like flexed. Maybe they have like a way to flex their skin to fluff out the hair so it looks like there's more hair. Maybe it reflects light differently when it's like erect as opposed to just sitting down on their body.
Yeah. But think about it.
But think about it,
Filamentous
what if it was
bacteria.
filamentous bacteria? Yeah, I resent the fact that I've now had to think about that for a third time.
Yay.
It's gross. Sophie, you're just really determined that nobody in this book actually has hair, huh?
Nobody has hair. I
There's
demand
just
it.
no hair.
Yeah. Did I come up with this idea again? Where maybe it's also for their teeth and their hair.
Uh-huh.
You know how when they like there's a myth that after you die, your nails and your
Yeah.
hair keeps growing,
I think you did mention
But-
that.
but it's just that your skin like recedes a little bit.
Yeah.
Like maybe they can just like dehydrate themselves a bit.
Yeah, they just like
Yeah, and then their teeth like pop out of their gums a bit more, and then like
yeah.
their hair pops out some more.
Yeah. I mean, I think that aligns with one of my ideas that like there isn't actually more hair, but something
Yeah.
either about their skin or like the musculature or the structure of the hair shifts a
Yeah.
little. So it looks different.
Yeah. Maybe they have chromatophores on their hair.
Oh. That's fun.
They turn all black.
They turn all black. We did
The
suggest
dark
that maybe they
hairs.
have multiple hairs per follicle like a chinchilla, but just that some of them are like flat all the time.
Aw. Oh my god, are erasers just like the softest?
Got it. I doubt it.
No.
Doesn't
Probably
testosterone
not.
make your skin and hair coarser? They're probably very coarse.
That's true.
If we accept that testosterone is like heavily involved in this process.
Yeah. You just said chinchilla, and then I was thinking
Yeah.
about chinchillas.
No, they are so soft. I also really like the idea that the way they transform is they use an insulin pump to flood their body with some kind of hormone that induces the transformation.
Ah,
I remember that now, yeah.
They just give themselves like an EpiPen.
Yeah. And that's funny.
That's
Yeah.
pretty good. They take like an inhaler or an EpiPen
Yeah.
or any of the extremely useful medical assist devices.
Yeah, they use a medical assist device in a way that it is not intended to be used, and then they turn into a werewolf.
Wow. Oh my god, his motorcycle is a werewolf.
Motorcycle is a werewolf. But how does the motorcycle wear an insulin pump? Does it go into the gas tank?
He poured it into the gas tank, yeah.
Into the gas tank. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Instead of NOS, there's
Uh-huh.
insulin. Anyway, what else?
The last thing I had is that these erasers on multiple occasions are mentioned to have very persuasive voices.
Oh yeah.
And we kind of chalked that up to anything between like mind control magic, hypnotism, or just like that extreme cult leader charisma.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yes.
I stand by cult leader charisma.
Yeah, I think we leaned a bit into the like brainwashing hypnotism thing because we assumed that they are probably also controlled through brainwashing,
Oh yeah.
but we didn't come to a conclusion.
I mean, I feel like it's a combination of whatever makes them gorgeous probably also gives
Yeah.
them the like, I don't know, nice voice
Yeah.
stuff.
Similar like the Twilight vampires, right? Like for some reason they
Yeah.
are designed to be persuasive and attractive. It's less obvious
Yeah.
than with the vampires, which are trying to attract their prey.
Yeah.
But
The erasers just are confident,
wow,
which is just inconceivable.
I cannot imagine.
Cannot imagine. Anyway,
Anyway,
before we get too far off.
before we start thinking too much about what makes people hot,
Yeah. Too hot to die.
too hot to die.
Well, I think that's all of the main ones. Do we just want to, if we have any misc
Oh yes,
miscellaneous
we had
category
some
stuff? Yeah. I think I worked most of my misc in like the crucial ferruginous hawks are 2% human,
Yeah, for sure.
which was my main one in my misc category.
Uh-huh.
The only other misc I didn't work in is that lasagna is a crime for breakfast.
That's not true.
That's the only callback I
Oh my
wanted
God.
to make.
Great. Love
I
that.
resent this.
Yeah, that's what we decided, all of us together. We
No.
Two
decided.
against one.
Yep, confirmed.
No.
Yep.
My dietitian told me that lasagna was an acceptable breakfast, and she's a professional.
She's wrong.
I did bring up this argument outside of the podcast with a
That's so
professional
important that this
dietitian.
is clarified.
So wrong.
She's a narc and she's trying to get you
Oh
arrested
my
for the
God.
crime of eating lasagna for breakfast.
Dang it.
She's got your number. I
Yeah.
planted her
She's gonna
to
get me.
you arrested.
Oh no.
Anyway, those are all my miss category stuff. What about you guys? Yes.
Okay.
I'm good. I don't have anything else.
I had a couple things that I failed to include elsewhere. One of them being that the erasers kidnapped Angel specifically, but we never find out why. And we also find out that she is subject 11, not subject 6. But at the end of the book, we meet at least 2 additional Birdkids. So that might account for the ones that are at the Institute in New York rather than the ones that were at the school in California. So that's interesting.
So they were like in betweens because they were younger than Max,
yeah,
but older than Angel. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that makes at least 8 Birdkids out of the suggested 11.
And then we know there's Max 2 and Dylan.
Oh, true.
So
8, 9, 10. Okay, so who's number 11?
Angel's 11.
No, but like there's like our 6 Birdkids.
One more.
2 at the Institute, which makes 8. Dylan and Maya, who are 9 and 10. And then
there's definitely just one dead one.
One dead one.
Somewhere. The first one.
The first one is dead as hell.
Yeah.
Great. Okay.
Great. Good.
I mean, that's interesting that actually lines up really well, especially considering I have absolutely zero confidence that the rest of the series or even the rest of this book was outlined when this comment about subject 11 was made. I think this is just another one of those coincidences.
Was it like
that
an
we
angel
have found.
number or something?
Yeah, we talked about that a bit.
Yeah, so that's why they did it. That's the only reason.
Yeah. Also, Fang gets beaten up twice in the first third of the book. And I think again at the end of the book. So
yeah, he almost dies several times.
This poor kid has a traumatic brain injury for sure.
Yeah.
We talked a bit about how all of the Birdkids, particularly Angel, seem developmentally advanced for their age. And then also just the idea that the Birdkids are probably some kind of pilot project for a military application, probably as spies.
Great. And biological weapons.
Biological weapons. Uh-huh. Yeah, with their farts and mustard gas.
Yep.
Chlorine gas, please.
Sure. I also did make the hilarious note from, I think, our second episode. We were talking about, like, wow, this book is so fast, like, so much happens so quickly. And then it turns out that the only things happen at the beginning.
Yeah. And then they go to Central Park 30,000 times.
So many times.
And then they spend 100 pages in Central Park.
Yeah. Classic.
Yep. So there you have it.
Wow.
Incredible.
Wow.
Wow. Those are all of the things we scienced about the Birdkids and Co. Go us.
Birdkids et al. I'm honestly surprised we had so much to say. I didn't think we did.
So am I. Apparently we had a lot.
Yeah.
I think it was because they were based on real animals, like birds. Like they were just birds. So we could just look up stuff about birds.
Yeah, and we couldn't really hand-wave things away as being magic because there's no magic in this world, which made it harder.
Yeah. Unfortunately, like, genetic recombination exists, as do birds. So we had to...
That's true.
...actually learn stuff. So, since we don't have further chapters to guess, obviously, let's talk about what else we're reading. Literally 4 minutes before we started recording this, I finished Thornhedge. Why do I have such a hard time saying that?
No, I do that too.
By T. Kingfisher, and it was so good. It was so good. It was just a little cute little novella, kind of horrifying and fun. I liked it a lot. I actually started it today at lunch and then finished it this evening. So it was good. I might read it again, but I had a great time with that. Otherwise, I have finished my rereading of the Mercedes Lackey series, plural,
Huh?
I was reading. So I finished
Possible.
all of the Elemental Masters series and the 500 Kingdoms series. And then I also read the 3 books of the Dragon Jesters. I had 4 days
Oh my god.
off this weekend.
And you read 3 whole
tired.
books?
Man, I'm
Yeah.
so jealous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've read them 4 million times, so it didn't take me that long, but that's
I was
what
literally
I
just
did.
thinking today how I want to take the week off my birthday and just fucking read a book every day. But anyways.
You
Read a
should
book
totally.
every day.
Yeah.
You should do it. I recommend it. Yeah, I think that's all that I've read. Because I think I talked about The Sixth Extinction on the last one,
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
which I had read. That was the last book I read before that. So, yeah. That's what I'm reading. The end. What are you reading, Sam?
I am probably in the biggest slump I've ever been in. I haven't finished a physical book in months. Unlike Sophie, I don't get 4-day weekends. I work through my weekends because I'm in the
Yeah.
worst meeting ever designed by anybody. But that doesn't matter. The only thing I'm currently reading, actually, that's a lie. I'm reading everything I haven't finished in months, but I don't want to talk about that. Anyways, I made progress on Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig because I got my hair done as a treat to myself, and I could read my Kindle while I was sitting waiting for my hair to process.
Yay.
But other than that, I started listening to X's and O's by Amy Leah, which I think a few episodes ago was reading her first book, Set on You. So this is the second book in that little romance series she has going on. And I just started it this morning. I don't have anything else to say. Yeah,
Great.
that's all.
All right. I have read a couple books since last time. The one I want to shout out is Bitch on the Female of the Species by Lucy Cook, which is a nonfiction about how female animals have often been overlooked in like the role of animal behavior and animal evolution because of misogyny, and like going into some of the ways that they actually do shape the evolution of their species and the social structures of the species that they live in. And it was very interesting, and I enjoyed it quite a lot.
I really want to read that book. I feel like I heard about it.
I think Sam told us
couple
about
years
it.
ago.
Sophie
Yeah.
told me
Yeah.
about it, and then I saw
I
it
think
in
I
a
saw it on
bookstore
Twitter.
in Tofino and bought it and brought it home, and it's been sitting on my desk for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Classic.
Oh, I had it on hold for over 500 days before I finally...
Oh god, I don't even want to look
Read it.
at how long I've had books on hold for. Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know why Libby did this update where now it's like, this has been on hold for 562 days. Like,
Yeah,
I
I
don't need
don't
to
like
know
that.
this. I don't need that information. That's definitely not the oldest one on that list either. Anyway, since finishing that, I am now listening to The Familiar by Lee Bardugo and reading
Mm.
A Tempest of Tea by Hafsa Faisal, which I found in a little free library.
Oh, that's a good
So I'm stoked about
find.
that. Right?
Yeah.
It's signed even.
Oh.
Wow.
Wow, good find.
Yeah, so, Marley, if you've misplaced your copy of A Tempest of Tea, let me know. Toss your name in it. Anyway, this episode comes out in July, which is Sam's birthday month. So, Sam, what am I going to be reading next time?
We're going to be reading A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen. And for those who don't know, Danielle L. Jensen wrote the Bridge Kingdom series, which was the first book since Throne of Glass that made me stay up until 2 a.m. reading it. And so she's now released a Norse mythology romantasy, and so I'm making everybody read it with me because it's my month.
Yay.
We will do it. Hey guys, do you know what else we're going to be reading next time?
Yeah.
Oh my god, what?
We're going to be starting a new book.
Yeah. We've circled back around because somehow we managed to do it where each of us sort of picked a book.
Hey, we both
Yeah.
picked that on the streets of Toronto during COVID. That was both of our faults,
Okay, but
Sophie.
It's both of our faults. It's all three of our faults because
It's
Hannah said
true.
yes when we asked her if she wanted to read it. And
Yeah.
then, but we all know that each of these books, one of us has been more of a
Yeah.
fan.
Uh-huh.
of them in general. And we circled back around to another book of which Sam was more of a fan than anyone else.
Yeah.
I didn't read this book.
Oops.
I read to a certain point that we will discuss when we get to it.
Ooh, all right.
Well, I've read every book that's been released in this series, and you can probably take a guess.
How many?
There's far too many. There's 3 separate trilogies, at least 5 different anthology short stories that have been released. Anyways, the book we're going to be reading is City of Bones by Cassandra Clare, which still has books coming out in the Shadowhunter Chronicles. So
crazy.
This book universe is old enough to drive a car.
Why'd you have to say it like
God.
that?
Don't worry, we're also old enough to drive a car.
I'm old enough to drive a car to the point where my insurance is now lower because I've been driving for so long.
Wow, I can't wait.
I can wait. I have avoided these books for 16 years. And yet,
wow,
here we are.
What a good time. And now we all have to read them.
And now we all have to read them. I'm going to be Sam in Aragon, or I'm going to love this book, and it will be really embarrassing.
Yeah, what if we love it?
Were you me in the last 2 books?
Yeah. Yeah, now it's my turn to be upset the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
Wow. No, this is good because you've read every single book, and I know you liked them a lot at some point.
Yeah.
So now I can finally assess.
Yeah, and now we can ruin them for you.
How I feel about them.
Yeah, I think I can look back on it in a mature way and still respect the fact that I loved it as a kid and why I did.
Mhm.
But like, I definitely know going into it, there's already problems. Like, I reread them right before COVID, I think.
So you are aware.
And unlike the Hunger Games, it doesn't hold up as well. But for like what it was when I was a teenager, it's fair. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can understand why it's a popular book, or was a popular book for that age range. But anyways, we'll discuss this a lot more in detail in the next episode, because I know far too much about the Shadowhunter Chronicles and City of Bones in particular.
I'm excited to get your like wealth of knowledge and insight in this one. I think it's gonna be good.
Yeah. Maybe if you had said this to me like 3 days ago, I would have been like, haha, yeah, I wouldn't look back on it like that. But a video game that I was obsessed with when I was like 19 and 20, Dragon Age, because it has a really great high fantasy and also romantic plot in it. I was obsessed. They just announced the next game with a trailer, and I immediately was like teleported back to about 2011 emotionally. So now I'm like, I'm not about that. I'm not about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, clearly I got excited when a new Aragon book came out. So like
yeah. It happens to all of us.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll secretly love City of Bones, and that'll be our new personalities.
Well,
wow, imagine.
Well, probably not, but maybe.
Maybe. Anyway, tune in 2 weeks to find out. In the meantime, oh god, what is the outro? If you liked this episode of Midlight Crisis and the end of our Maximum Ride era, consider rating and reviewing us on Spotify or your podcatcher of choice. You can talk to us and find fun-related content on social media. We are at Midlight Pod on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Tumblr, and Blue Sky. And all chapters of the show thus far are available on our website, midlightpod.podbean.com, and on YouTube.
And I've got one last science question for everyone before we sign off. Guys, do vampire boobs still count as boobs if they can't lactate?
No! The callback.
We decided yes, didn't we?
Oh no! Wow, truly a question for the
I don't
ages.
think there's an
Oh
answer.
god. This is a weird podcast.